What's going on, guys? Jamie Lewis here with a new video. Obviously the ones that have been watching me in the other videos, you can see I normally do hair loss stuff, so yeah, this is something completely new, something you know, I've never done this before for this side of things, but I think there's a lot of value in it, and I think it could help definitely a lot of people. Those who didn't know, I've been doing sales for over 10 years. I've had quite a, I like to class as successful lead up to this point. Done pretty well. Some, you know, I landed a few roles where it was a bit of a struggle, but over time, you know, persistence, keep going at it, and you know, improving yourself. That's what sales is about. It's a constant and gradual learning thing. Always aim to learn something new every day and better yourself, and ultimately you'll get to where you want to be, whatever sector of sales you're in. I'm personally, I'm self-employed now. I'm actually a contractor out in Australia, and what I do is, my role is basically I go to solar follow-up appointments. So we have there's companies that will book these leads, people that are interested in solar systems, and I'll go to the house and basically go through the whole process, start to close, and then by the end of it, I obviously ask for their details and attempt to close them. Now, in this job, it's funny how this video sort of come about. You know, I'm probably driving about an hour and a half, about 3 hours a day. I'm sat in my car, and I love listening to audiobooks. Me personally, I hate reading books. You know, you won't find one book that the only book I ever read was Twilight and New Moon, and it was actually better than the fucking movie. So it sort of killed the whole objective of it, because I actually like watching movies, and you know, your brain can process these images a lot better than you would actually see. So for that reason, I don't read books anymore. However, I love a good audiobook when I'm driving. I use the Amazon Audible app, and one of the top ones I've listened to, which, you know, I was already doing the process sort of, but I was taking it to another level and I didn't even know it, and that was the straight line system. Now, for those of you who don't know, it's the Wolf of Wall Street, you know, Jordan Belfort. You know, I love the movie. If you guys are into sales and you want to make, if you love the whole partying and making money scene and dressing up in slick suits, watch it. So sick. You know, I think everyone in the world must know about it. It was a global sort of movie that went everywhere. But yeah, Jordan Belfort, you know, massive respect to this guy. I know he made a few mistakes in the past, you know, people are still holding it over his head, but the geezer's changed. You know, I've watched a few interviews with him, but yeah, massive credit to you, mate. But unfortunately, buddy, I hacked your system. Now, when I say a hack, I want to say basically I done it and took it a step further using, you know, modern technology. Now, you know, I appreciate that when this system was discovered, you got to think it was all on the telephone. You know, they never really did they did a few face-to-face meetings back then, but they never had anything to really present. Okay, it was all done words and, you know, probably textbook stuff. Okay, now what I've learned from over the years of doing sales and you know, different roles I've been in, it's true what Jordan said. Each sale is the exact same. Okay, now what he means by that is everyone, as long as they're in the market to buy, you know, as in they're in the market for that product. So, you know, you probably heard that typical shitty salesy bollocks where it's like, oh, sell me this pen, sell me this pen. The first question you ask when someone asks you to sell the pen is, firstly, how long have you been in the market for a pen? It eliminates the factor if they're a customer, a potential customer or not. If they say, don't use a pen, I use a tablet, they are not going to ever buy from you. Don't waste your time. Remember, as salespeople, your job is to not turn the no's and into yeses. It's to turn the maybes, the what ifs. Oh, I've got to speak to my wife, my cat. You know, they're the ones you want to be able to focus on closing. Don't try selling something to someone who's not even in the market for it. It's pointless. You're going to waste your time, your efforts. Trust me, I've made the mistakes. Don't do it. Now, what Jordan basically says is each sale is treated the same. So bearing in mind, if they're in the market for it, everybody's got three motives to trigger, okay? Which, now, you've got to have these three motives, these three characteristics, sorry. They've both got to be at 100% for you to close the deal, okay? If one of these is out, you're not closing it, okay? Now, I've bought this lovely whiteboard, or whatever board you want to call it. Don't know what country in, you know, I don't know what the laws are, but I know you can't call the other board whatever it is. But yeah, I've drawn it up here. Hopefully you can see it. I'll zoom into it a bit better. 1 second. Let me try and do this. Oh, right, okay, so you got 3 characteristics. That's my little panda head. And what? 3 characteristics. You got the product, you got the service, and you got the company. Now what this means is, during your journey when you're negotiating with the customer, these 3 characteristics have all got to be 10 out of 10. Okay, now you could have the best product in the world and and the best service, but if your company, so I'm getting used to this tripod, you can have the best product in the world, the best company in the world, but no, sorry, so let's just like keep it simple: best product, best service, but your company doesn't add up to that. You know, the reviews on Google or whatever, they're saying it's shit, and people know that. For them, you know, you might have 2 10s in the first 2, but if the company image isn't there, they're not going to buy from you. Then again, saying that, you may be a lovely person yourself. Fuck that up. Apologies, I fucked that right up. Okay, so it's product at number 1. And this one is, instead of service, it's you. As in you being the person. You're the person they're speaking to, and then the company. So product, yourself, and the company. Okay? Now, all of these 3 characteristics need to be at 100%, 10 out of 10, for you to even move your way towards the close. Okay, so you've got to make sure the customer believes in your company. You know, do you stand for the right reasons? Have you got a good reputation? Have you been around X, Y, and Z? You know, all these variables, that's got to be at 100%. The second one's your product. They've got to believe in your product. You know, no one's going to buy something that doesn't really have any value in it. It's not going to benefit them in any way, okay? And thirdly, obviously, it's down to you. You can have the best product, work for the best company, but if you're a dick, no one's going to buy from you, okay? So them 3 are the top 3, okay? I think that's the only 3. That is the only 3 he said. That's the only 3 that I've picked up on anyway. It's them 3 characteristics. When they're 10 out of 10, 100%, you can then move your way down this straight line system, okay? Which leads me to this little drawing. Now, hopefully you can see that. Now, this is basically what he's on about, okay? Now, this is the straight line system. Now, I was essentially doing this before I even listened to him, right? I'll tell you how I've been doing that, okay? So this is your journey. So this is the first point you meet them, at point A. Obviously, you're going to take them down your pitch, all the way down your pitch, and then you're going to get to B. B is when you close the deal, okay? So start to finish. Now, what I do, now this is why this is called straight line hacks, yeah? Now, this works for me. I've been doing this I've been trying it out for the last 5 months, and it's allowed me to generate over $1 million in revenue for this business, okay? It's my conversion rate in the last 2 weeks is about 85%, yeah? And you know, I'm sitting probably anywhere from around, I'd say minimum 4 to 5 leads a day, so you can work out the numbers on that. Yeah, but it's, you know, it's a very successful system. I've tweaked it for a good couple of months, and I finally got it to the point where it's just flawless. Now, what I use, and it's all about the presentation, okay? Now, what do I mean when I say presentation? I don't mean like, you know, I'm presenting this to you now, or you know, a lot of words. You've got to think, you want to be as engaging as possible. For you to move down this line, you need to make sure you're ticking these boxes, okay? So for yourself, you need to make sure you're an expert, okay? No one wants to waste time with somebody who doesn't seem that sure on what they're doing. So even if you haven't got that much experience in what you're doing, no one knows you, right? So you can put on any character you want. So when that door opens, you could be a high level German engineered technician who's decided to now go onto the path of sales because you want to promote a better quality product. You know, you could have anything. No one knows your story, but obviously go in there with a bit of experience. You know, don't sell something you don't know nothing about, because that's just a dickheadish move, you know, especially when people are spending about $20,000 upwards. Okay, now what I do for this, and it allows me to go, one sec, fuck that right up. So I have not used a whiteboard since I was at school. So what my system allows, point A, so when I meet them, okay, I can hack this system all the way to about here. I'd say that line there. So Like the moment I meet them and the moment I sit down and drink a cup of coffee, cup of tea, whatever they're offering, or even a beer, I am able to get down this far of the sale, so I get to this near enough at the end, and at that point, I then ask, does that make sense? At this point, I give them opportunity to then open up with any questions they may have, you know. You know, the reality is when it gets to this point, I don't actually have that many objections, I'm not gonna lie, because this bit here makes these all 10 out of 10, okay? Now, what I do in this point, now this is the golden the golden trick, right? I promise you, if you master this and you do it properly, you will fucking see such a difference in what you guys do. I'm not even joking, right? Now this is for most of the people I work with. You always ask me what I do in my appointments. I'm telling you now, this is exactly what I do, so I'm putting it up on YouTube so you can watch it whenever time you want. But this is the fucking blueprint of what I do every single sale, apart from my golden nuggets. Now, quickly, what a golden nugget is, as soon as you walk in, they smell your aftershave, you've got the sale. You know, it's in the bag. They've already been in the market for it, they've shopped around, you just happen to be the right person, the right place at the right time. That is it. Yeah, you don't need none of this, you don't need none of this. They're just ready to sign their fucking, put the pen to the paper. Okay, so I don't use it for that, but for the ones where you do a full presentation, this is what I do every single time. Okay, so I use an iPad. Okay, now you know, you can use a laptop, you can use any tablet, Samsung, whatever. It just happened I have an iPad what I use for my presentations. Now, my iPad, I designed a presentation on this. Now, I open it in Acrobat Reader, and what this presentation does is basically, so I swipe through. Now, each swipe I do, it allows me to move each part down this line, okay? Until I get to this point. Now, each segment, each slide in that presentation has a very, very important role in me getting down this line to make sure these three, the product, myself, and the company, are all 10 out of 10. So when I get to this point, I haven't got that many objections. Sorry about that. I think my camera got a bit out of focus when I put my the board to it. But as I was saying, so each slide of my presentation has an important role in getting this customer down to this line here. Okay. Now, what I always start with, now the first slide is an introduction to the business, the company, okay? Telling them basically a bit, you know, I'll keep it short and sweet, I don't flood it with text, you know, because it's very visual. You want them to keep engaged. Ideally, you've probably heard the saying death by PowerPoint. You do not want that. You know, you want to be able to look them in the eyes and know what is on each slide. So they can actually, they're looking at you and glance in there, they can see both, okay? So the first slide, introduction to the business. Tell them a bit about it, where your offices are. You know, if you have any ratings on certain platforms, mention that. A nice quick slide. The second one, the major USP, okay? So unique selling point. Now, this is your chance to make your cut, get the hook in, okay? So it's just like knocking on the door. You've got to put in a certain hook within that time, okay, to keep them engaged. Now, what I like to do, I always compare it to, you know, my past, or a reason why I'm working for this company. I had so much value into this. I say to them, look, now this is, so once that slide's done, and I get to the next bit for my USP for the business, I say, look, the main reason why I've actually come over from England to work for this company after doing it for 5 years back there is something very, very important and unique, okay? And no other company's doing it, and it's this. And that's when I go into our company, the company I contract for is USP, which is fucking brilliant. And then straight after that, I'll go for how many sort of, you know, facts about the business, how many installations they've done, how many sales they've done, whatever, okay? It adds a lot of value to the company. So that's that one ticked off straight away. Then the next bit, I'm going through the explanation of the process, of how it works, okay? So that way they're understanding, okay, cool, so the USP makes sense. They can see it all connecting, brilliant. So now I'm halfway through, okay? This bit here, I now work on this, okay? So you obviously, that's me being an expert in my field. They've got to be able to believe in what I'm saying. You know, they trust me. There's so many different factors for that being 10 out of 10. Don't go for the typical rapport bullshit. You know, rapport is such, I'll probably do another video on this. Rapport isn't, oh, good afternoon, sir, I love your cat, or, you know, they're nice windows, or the candles, you know, It's just bullshit, you know. It's fluffy bullshit. They can all see through it. They know you're a salesman. That's their perception of you. They know you're there to sell them something. So don't do that. Just keep it straightforward. You know, you go to see a doctor. Imagine that you're spending thousands of pounds to go, or thousands of dollars to go see this high fucking level doctor. You're in their presence. You're not going to talk about, you know, why your cat's fur is so fluffy, or, you know, you bought a new rug. You're there because you've got an issue. You want the doctor to diagnose it, come up with a solution to it, and also prescribe you with what you need, which is exactly what sales, that's exactly what the method is here, okay? In sales in general, for those that even know. Okay, so at this point, halfway through, I've now got to build up my 10 out of 10. So what I do is, I actually talk about other brands on the market, okay? Reasons why we tend to stay away from these other companies, and we only use the company we use because of X, Y, and Z. The ones who I work with, you know what I'm talking about because you've got the sheet of paper that they send you, it's the manufacturer's sheet. Sell on that, it's your best, it's the golden bullet in your gun, in your magazine, okay? So, halfway through, talking about the different systems on the market, you know, different components, whatever there is. Make a reason why they believe that why is this company only working for this company? And they, you know, they have access to all these other ones, but they only choose to work for this one. And that's when obviously you go through your manufacturer sheet. You go through that, you know what I'm on about. Okay, once that's done, a bit more about the other products. So say for example, you know, my industry is solar panels, okay? So here I'm talking about the different types of manufacturers on the market, why we choose to only work for the ones we do. Once I've done that, I then move on to the next component, which is the inverter, okay? Which brings me to about here, talking a bit more about that. So I'm just adding more value to me, you know, I'm making them believe that I really am an expert. I know, you know, I'm the best in my field. They can trust me with their money, essentially, okay? You know, I've explained how the whole process works. And then once I've explained the components of how that bit works, when I get to the end, I then do a comparison to prices on the market, okay? I then compare, I'm really open and honest, and I give them free information. I'll take the ball out of their court a little bit. I say, look, the reality is, you could go buy the exact same system for $3,000, you know? We're not the cheapest. We're definitely not the cheapest, but with that, you get an added value, okay? I go for a few more services and stuff we'd offer. You know, me being in front of you today, you know, we can walk away with no deal. I'm just purely here to show you how solar works and see first if it benefits you. You know, me personally, and then I'll say to them, you know, if you're gonna be parting on the best part of $10,000 upwards, surely you deserve a face to the name rather than a telephone call. And then straight away, you add in service to everything you do, because I guarantee you, if you're in this industry, the only time you get a face-to-face appointment is if they've already paid a deposit, okay? Everyone wants to do it on the phone and emails and stuff. No, we go straight to the person, we're face-to-face, we're having a coffee with them, we get to know them for them, and that is bringing up this and this, okay? Because it's a service. So once that's done, okay, so I've made myself look like a professional. The company was really good, like I've sold the company at the start, okay, and I've explained the product, perfect. Now, when I get down to this bit, okay, there's only one more slide I include, and it's just sort of like a round off thing. So, something that your company uses and is always proud of, you know, for ours, for example, it's the Clean Energy Council, okay? So our installers are accredited. So I always finish that off with that. So, you know, it's a nice little, it's like a little, just a safety net, you know. It makes them feel like they're really not, they're in safe hands, you know, they're a reputable company, we use top installers. And then after I've done that, I say, do you have any questions? And you wait. Don't say a word, okay? And then for me personally, if you do this bit right, 9 times out of 10, they say no, okay? Now, when they say no, that is when you go in for the close. Okay, now you've got 2 ways of doing it. If you can see them smiling, they're just ready to fucking sign, and their pen's in their hand, you know, you can see them licking their lips. Depending on obviously what you need to close, all we need is a driver's license, okay, and a bank card. So I just say to them, I just say, perfect, all I need is your driver's license. Simple as that, straight faced, simple as that, just need your driver's license. And they get it out, sign them up, do the paperwork, okay. Good, closed. The other way you could do is if you think if you get to this point, they've asked for no other questions, and they're about 80% of the way, and you can see them sort of humming an R in, and you already sense this. And what I always do is I say to them, I say, look, the reality is we're fully booked at the moment, okay? You're looking at about 3 to 4 weeks anyway to get anything installed, but all we're doing at the moment is putting people on a waiting list. For that, I just need your driver's license. same outcome, same close, get a driver's license, okay? And then I'll do the same thing. Depending on what industry you're in, obviously it's going to be a bit of a different thing, but the reality is, once you do this bit perfectly, it closes itself. Unless you're scared to ask for the close. Even in some points though, if you're waiting for the waiting game when you get here, I've had customers say to me, so how do we sign up? They close it for you. Seriously, when you do this method properly, it closes itself. Now, what are these lines up here? Now these are called the bullshit lines, okay? Jordan explains this perfectly. Pluto and Uranus, okay? I'm just gonna call this bullshit as well. Bullshit. Now this leads me on to the rapport thing I touched base on earlier, okay? Rapport isn't talking about, you know, what tea you have in the cupboards, what's chicken you got in the fridge, you know, where that TV come from. Because what's gonna happen is you're on your straight line, okay? You're starting the presentation, and then because you feel a little bit awkward halfway through, you say, oh, where's that TV from? You're up here. And then you're starting a whole other conversation about something that's completely irrelevant, yeah? You need to keep in between these lines. So if you're gonna divert off of it, right, make sure that you can come back on very quickly, because the further out you go, the more out of control it's gonna get, and then that is gonna affect this, which makes you not look like you're a specialist, because what specialist or an expert has that amount of time on their hand to be talking about fucking tea in the cupboard and chicken in the fridge and what TV they've got, you know? Stay away from that shit. Your time's precious. Remember, it's the philosophy and it's the mindset of sales. When you walk through that door, you are a top consultant for your company, okay? Your time is valued. You should be charging by the hour, because the information you're about to give them is priceless, okay? And it's fucking free information to them. So always go with that mindset. You know, it's always good to have a nice little chat, you know, have a few beers, but as long as it's natural, don't feel like you've got to go out your way to make someone, you know, to spark up a bit of rapport, because that's never going to work. Trust me, it does not work. People see straight through it these days, okay? So yeah, make sure you keep between the lines, okay? So have a bit of banter and whatnot, but make sure ultimately you get back on that line of travel. So this is why I use an iPad, because when you've got an iPad, you're scrolling through, you're going through your first slide, your second slide, and then you're like, oh, do you want a cup of tea? Oh, all right then. So obviously, no, that slide's paused. Okay, so you're still on that slide, it's still on the screen. So they can go off, make a cup of tea, give you a beer, whatever, and when they come back, the screen's still there. So you just say, okay, we carry on. And then you just carry on down that process. That presentation allows you to get from here to here without any real interruptions, because they can see it. Okay, they know you've got to swipe it. And if you've done all of this, the first three right, they're gonna understand that you are an expert in your field, and you know, and you've got, you know, you're extremely busy. One other thing, now I know, hopefully the video hasn't dragged on for too long, but one of the most common objections I get, and what my colleagues get as well, and have asked me to answer this, and I'm fed up with doing it, so I'm just going to outline it right here, right? The objection, the most common objection I get is, oh, I've got to think about it, or do you mind if I get back to you, or we're really interested, but can we just wait a couple of days, okay? Now, it's case by case, but you got to work out if they're being genuine. What's their situation? Like, for example, I had a gentleman yesterday. His daughter got stung by a wasp. Obviously, we were outside the house. I literally saw the kid go into the car of his mum and drive off to the hospital. So I'm not going to be a dick and try and counter his objection there. You know, sometimes you've got to be a bit. You know, you got to be a bit good with yourself, and just say, okay, that's fine. Make sure you're doing your job to your best of your ability. Exchange business cards and go forth. But the fluffy bullshitters, right? The ones that say, oh, do you mind if I think about it? Or, sorry, I just need to speak to my wife. This is what you do, okay? Now this is all about the mindset, okay? As long as they believe that you are an expert in your field, you work for a very busy company and your product's perfect, you can then say to them, you say, John, all due respect, I've been in this industry for over 10 years, okay? When somebody says to me they need to think about it, you know, you're a very busy man, I'm a very busy person. Reality is we're never going to be able to meet up again. So while I'm here, okay, you're one of the 60 houses that have been chosen for this project. what's your reasons why? What part can I help you on? And then 9 times out of 10, they'll probably say something about the price, because they haven't understood something you did earlier in this point, which is perfectly fine. You know, even I fuck up on that bit sometimes, because it is, sometimes people just nod and you think they're getting it, and then you have to backtrack, which is perfectly cool. So you backtrack back to here, you explain the point he doesn't understand or she doesn't understand, okay? There are girls called John. So go through that point, explain it, make sure they perfectly understand it, and then you say, does that make more sense? Yeah, perfect, okay. Now John, is there anything else that you didn't understand in the process? Because as you can see, it's gonna benefit you massively. As we've just shown, we can save you X amount per quarter, and judging by your electricity bill, this is how much you're gonna be paying over the next 5 years. Surely that must be a bit painful looking at that. Playing their pain points a little bit. Yeah, okay, cool. Right, all I need, John, is your driver's license. I'm gonna put you on the waiting list. Go in for it again, okay? Don't ever shit yourself and ask for that driver, because the ones that are scared to close never close. You know, you've got to go for it, otherwise you're never gonna fucking know. Go for it, and I guarantee you do that point right, and you land it effectively, they'll pass you whatever form they need for you to close. I think I've actually covered most of it. Yeah, you know, like I said, I was listening to this audio book in the car. It was fucking brilliant. You know, it dips into a bit about the movie as well. And, you know, my light bulb just went off in my head, and I thought, fuck me, he's actually right. There is the 3 characteristics I look out for, and I'll make sure that the presentation it keeps them on that line. And then what I realized is, by doing that, you don't actually allow them much room to talk, because you're doing all the talking. You know, this was my other point as well. You're defying the original law. So the way it used to work is God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. So you do twice the listening. You listen for 20. You speak 20%. You listen 80%. With this method, it's completely flipped round. You talk 80% of the time because you're the expert. They're in your presence, you know. I'm telling you about how this works. We got any questions? You got 20% at the end to tell me, okay? So you go through this, you're talking, you explain it, you engage them using your hands, your gestures. You know, they can really they're visualizing this panel on their roof or whatever the product is you're selling. They're visualizing it in their hand. They're seeing how they're gonna use it. You know, you've got to paint that picture. And once you've done that whole segment, that whole 80%, bang, 20%. Any questions? Does that make sense? No, sir. Perfect. Give me your driver's license. Done. Right. Any questions? Whack them in the comments. I actually enjoyed that. I'm not gonna lie. I've got fucking loads of little tricks in sales. Like I said, I've been doing it for a while. So if there's anything you want me to cover, who knows? Might be the next. No, I'm not even gonna say it. Peace. See you later.